Simon Goldsmith for ABT Fishing Tournaments, and we are chatting to the newly crowned Bass Cat Bass Pro Grand Final champion, Terry Allwood. Terry, it's only been 4 hours since you held that trophy aloft. I guess you're still on cloud nine.
Oh, mate, I'm on. If there's a cloud 10, I think I'm on it. It's a pretty big achievement that's sort of been in the pipeline for a few years for me, and mate, I'm super pumped to be able to take it out, and especially on a home dam, and it's just absolutely insane, really.
Now, we had a bit of a chat on Facebook Messenger last night. I wished you all the best, and you said you just simply wanted to go out and have another good day. You just had two good, fun days on the lake.
Yeah, mate. Actually, I had 3 good days on the lake. Like my pre-fish, I fished with Will Slosh, and we had a blinder of a day there, and we caught some really good fish all over the dam, and sort of keyed into a bit of a bite pattern, and found those fish were eating sort of a bit bigger profile lure than what they had been a little bit earlier. But Saturday I fished with Leroy Finch, and I just the idea of the shared weight and sharing all that information with your non-boater, and that really helped me out. And mate, he put a few nice fish in the well, and it was really good to be able to help guys out like that and sort of coach them through a bit of fishing, and a bit of tough areas and that, and you sort of help them guys out, and that's what it's really about, is going out and having fun. And as I said to you last night, I was just, mate, I'm not worried about the win. I was just, the last 2 days that I had fishing were just absolutely blinder of days, and you couldn't hope for a better day. And then went out today. I went out there with exactly the same attitude. Like, even though I was leading, I was sort of, I said to my non-boater this morning, Mark King, I said, mate, look, we're just going to go and do this all day, throw plastics to the edge, and that's what we did. And first 3 casts, I had a fish in the well, and it was sort of around a kilo, and just absolutely had a blinder of a day today. Would have put 30 fish in the boat today between the two of us, and just had a really good day. And Mark said to me, he said, "Oh mate," he said, "if you want me to do anything, just say so." I said, "Oh mate," I said, "You try one thing, I'll try this." And as soon as I got there and that plastics works to the edge, mate, he was like, "Do you want me to try plastic?" I'm like, "Yeah, you better." So he picked up a plastic, and straight away he was on as well. So it that sort of relieved the pressure a little bit, and we were bagged out by about 6:45, and basically from then on, we sort of upgraded a few times. By 9 o'clock, mate, I was ready to weigh in. I'd had enough. I was, we kept whacking fish after that, but we just couldn't find those better upgrades. I think we might have got 1 or 2 maybe that were sort of maybe 50-gram upgrades or something like that. But mate, we had a cracking bag by 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was just an insane day. The pressure was off, and I just sat back. We had a good old chat on the boat, and just had a really, really good, fun, social time, and that's what it's all about, going fishing. If you're not having fun, you're not there for the right reason, as far as I see it.
I think I mentioned last night, simply enjoy the moment, and it sounded like you did that. Let's rewind back to the start of yesterday. We got you guys away at 6 o'clock, and BP isn't a small lake compared to a lot of the lakes that we go to, and there can be a bit of competition to get to your gun spot. Did you get to your number 1 spot?
Mate, I did actually. Surprisingly enough, I got to a bank that was I honestly thought would have been fished a lot harder than what it got fished, and there was a couple other boats come in on it just after I got there, or there might have been one other boat just a little bit further up. But the room that was there was ample for me. The courtesy that was given by everyone on the lake this weekend, considering the size of the lake and fishing, and everyone fishing edges, was a phenomenal sight to see, because there was no arguments, there was no fighting over banks or anything. Everyone was just happy just to fish a bank and keep moving, and that's the way it worked. And I resounded myself to the situation, whereas I knew that the banks were going to be the go-to fish holding locations, and I knew myself that if I'm going to fish a bank, most definitely somebody else is going to have fished it before me. So, and that's the way it worked out. Look, I got one good fish on the Saturday morning. Leroy caught it actually first up on a blade, up in just before the timber on the right hand side bank there.
So you're fishing edges like most people did for the tournament. Run us through the lay of the land of those banks and those edges that you're fishing. What sort of depth of water are you in?
Well, basically, I was casting as tight to the edge as you could get. I found that those fish were as shallow as possible, like, sometimes less than a foot of water that hit your lure. So basically, I was typically, the bank I fished predominantly, which I produced all the big fish off, I found a bank where I was sitting in about 10 to 15 foot of water, just a nice cast length off the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And basically every time it was pretty much land the plastic on the edge of the water, couple of little hops, and then just retrieve that plastic as a slow wind back across that there's like a black snotweed, we call it. It's a real sticky sort of weed, and generally at BP I sort of tend to steer away from it generally, but for this comp I'd found that the fish were in it, and usually I'd use a half-ounce jig head, believe it or not, casting to the edge, because you can get that bit extra distance when you're casting over those shallow flats. But I'd gone back to a quarter, and I just found I wasn't getting as much of that black weed on my hook, and I thought, well, right, I'm just going to stick with this, and it paid off for me. So, basically just find those banks. The bank that I was on was probably a little bit steeper than the bank I started on.
Yeah.
But mate, honestly, throughout the dam at the moment for BP, I honestly believe it doesn't matter what bank you're fishing, there is fish on every bank.
And that seems to be the great thing about the lake at this time of the year. When it comes out of its, I suppose for the want of a better term, its winter slumber, those fish are on the banks, and they're on just about every bank you go to.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, predominantly through winter, you sort of really struggle to catch fish at BP. But I mean, they have bit fairly consistently through the winter this year. But we haven't had a real cold winter. But September generally at BP is an edge bite and is really on fire. Like, we're in the second week of September now, and it's well and truly cracking out there at the moment, and some good fish too. That honestly, as you know, I live 30 k's away from the dam, and to have it fishing like that, I've never actually experienced it as good, and the quality fish that I've caught today and yesterday, it's insane.
Now, was there a go-to plastic?
So basically I used two plastics for the weekend. I used a Megabass, or what are they called now? It's a Megabass paddle tail.
Yep.
And in a 3-inch, and I also used a 3-inch atomic plazo.
Mm-hmm.
In a green, and it's got a gold fleck through it.
Yep.
So I just paired that onto a 1/4-ounce jig head, Atomic Seekers jig head, and that just that was sort of my confidence lure, and I just used that all weekend.
And I assume you were throwing it on a spin outfit.
Yeah, on a spin outfit. So predominantly I used a Samurai Infinite 6 to 12 pound, and occasionally I went back to a 252 Samurai Reaction. So both 7 foot. So mashed up with some Daiwa Certates and some Unitica 10 pound light jigging braid, and I got confidence in those plastics that I'm throwing, and that was it. I honestly don't think it mattered what plastic you threw, so long as you got the confidence in it, and that's all that matters. So
confidence is key. Now, the doc talk on Friday afternoon after the pre-fish was that everybody was going to get fish, but getting the big bites was key, and it always is in the tournament, especially in the grand final. The fact that you were the only angler who got 2 bags over 5 kilos is testament that you were onto those big bites. How did you manage to get onto those big bites? It's not just luck.
No, look, it's a lot of knowledge of the dam, and areas that hold fish predominantly. Like BP is a creature of habit, really. And generally speaking, if you can find a bank that has, if you can crack a couple of big fish off it in the pre-fish, drive away from it, leave it, and I can guarantee you, Nelly, that if you spend enough time on that bank, those big fish will come back, because that's what they do. Like, you will weed through the lure fish because they're in plague proportions, because the stocking group's doing a wonderful job out there. But those bigger fish are there. You just have to weed through those little ones to get them, and that's basically all I did. Saturday morning was sort of we had an average sort of bag, and we moved to my big fish location, and opposite Bass Point there, and basically we fished that. We had 3 good fish in the boat and 1 average one left. And Craig Simmons was there and he's seen it. And basically, I said to Leroy, we need to go in. I said, I don't want to keep whacking these average fish if we can be putting them in the well, And he said, oh, no, he said, we should just give it 20 more minutes, We've got plenty of time. And this was only like 10 o'clock. So we had heaps of time left to weigh in. And I said, no. So anyway, I said, yeah, right, we'll give it 20 minutes. And anyway, sure enough, we upgraded that one other fish we had in there, and that's all that was required. And I said to Simo, we're going now to weigh in, and pretty much I drove out of there, and Chris Hickson drove in. And that's just the nature of it. Once you leave the bank, you can't.
You relinquish that spot, somebody else is going to move in.
That's exactly right, mate. And that's just fishing. That's how it is. And then so we left there. We come straight back to there, and Chris was sort of working the bottom half, and we worked the top half, and we put 2 quick ones in the well, both good size, and then the bite slowed down a fair bit. Leroy and I left, and we went back to try and catch a few littler fish up the dam a bit further on the left-hand side there, and we got our little fish up there, and then I said to Leroy, righto, we're going to go back to the big fish spot and try and catch those bigger fish. And we went back there, and I think I got one, and Leroy got another one, and I think we might have upgraded one, and had a great time up there, and then come back in with 4.96 kilos, which I was pretty happy with. Like anywhere around that 5 kilo mark was pretty good. And then basically, Sunday we went out and.
Now, were you feeling the pressure this morning when you headed off? You're not a guy that seems to suffer a lot from pressure. You're in the right headspace, and I assume you would have been this morning when you left.
Yeah, look, I've folded under the pressure a couple of times now, and I've sort of, Bill Slosh has put the motto into my head as though, if it's your time, it's your time, and if you're getting those bites and those bites stick, mate, you're 90% of the way there to winning whatever comp it is, And I live by that motto, and I swear by it today. And I said to my nombo this morning, Mark King, I said, mate, I'm leading. The pressure's all on me. I said, I'm not even going to worry about it. We're going to go out. We're going to have a good time. This is what I'm doing. Throwing pussies to the edge. Away we go. And, he was cool with it. He's like, oh, what do you want me to do? If you want me to do anything, just say so. And, it was really cool, really laid back atmosphere, I suppose you could call it. Like, the pressure would then become onto both of our shoulders, not just mine. And it sort of relieves you a little bit. But, mate, as I said to you, I was just going out there last night. Like last night I said to you, I was just going out there today. Whatever happens, happens, and I'm going out to have fun and enjoy myself. And that's exactly what I did. And, mate, I had an absolute blast for the last 3 days. It's crazy. Now,
of course, when you're the last angler to hit the stage at a grand final, the butterflies do turn up and you feel them. Now, the guy that you picked for the win, Mark Ferguson, he brought a great bag of fish to the scales, 582. Once he came through and you were to follow, were you a little bit nervous?
Yeah, mate, I was very nervous, actually. I actually didn't get to see him weigh in, but I did hear that he had a cracking bag around the 6 kilo mark, and it was really starting to worry me. But yeah, once I got up on stage and I seen them scales tick over, it was, I don't know, it was a sigh of relief, and it's an emotion you can't really explain, mate. And even now, it still really hasn't sunk in, but you just don't know what to feel. I'm overjoyed, I'm happy, I'm kicking and screaming, you just don't know what to feel. So it's just one of those emotions that's really crazy.
Have you put the shield over the fireplace yet?
It's above the TV. Yes, there. It's sitting there with all my other trophies that Kimberly moved out of the bedroom because she wouldn't let me sleep next to them anymore. So yes, no, it's up there with all the others, and mate, it'll stay there till next year, and I'll look at it every day. And
as an analyst of the sport, I like to sit back and watch our anglers evolve over the years and improve, and you're one that's definitely done that. It wasn't that long ago that you were weighing in bags as a non-boater, and you've stepped up to the boater category, and you've you've evolved and you developed incredibly well, and you're now a grand final champion. That success doesn't happen by chance. Is there anybody or people you'd like to thank?
Yeah, mate. Like, firstly, I'd like to thank my family, Kimberly and Layla, for all their support. Like, honestly, without the support of my wife and my daughter, it's them guys let me go away and do what I do and do what I love because they know that I love it so much, and they're a huge supporter of what I do, and I thank them immensely for it. All my sponsors, A1 Roadworthies, them guys support me heaps. All Car Bits as well down in Brisbane, and also Tonic Eyewear and Frogley's Offshore are a new lot of guys I've got on board. And mate, being with them guys is just like a big family. Like they're always approachable. Anything is no drama at all, and mate, they've got some awesome products out there, and it's just sponsorship to me is not about free gear or anything like that. The sponsorship is about being part of a family, and that's the way I feel at the moment. So I'm very happy with the sponsors that I've got, and I thank them immensely, and their support is just unbelievable towards me. So.
Well, you're doing the family incredibly proud, mates. Once again, congratulations. You have joined an illustrious list of company now as a grand final champion.
Yes, mate. I was having a look at the names on the trophy, and there's definitely some very high-end names on there, and it's an absolute honour to be on there with them. So,
congratulations, Terry. Enjoy your celebrations tonight.
Thanks, Simon. Cheers, mate.